I came in Dr. Joe Dispenza's workshop without any expectations. Before I came over here, people asked me what you're doing there for a whole week. And I was like, I don't know. It's in a pretty nice hotel with a pool and on the beach. So I thought I'm just coming for a retreat for 7 days. And all I wanted to achieve was to lose weight. So I came over, but so many friends were so curious, so I decided to do a 5 minutes videotape just so that I don't have to repeat and also help me to remind what has been happening. At the first 2 days we were learning, and the second day I had a mental meltdown. What happened was during the meditation everyone was so focused. I'm focused too, but I'm so competitive. And Dr. Joe keeps saying, you just have to let go. You just have to surrender and don't look for it. Don't look for it. And don't ask if this is it. But I just couldn't. How am I, we're all looking for miracles, and you ask yourself, is this the one? So on the second day, I had some lady that was, quite rude to me, and I thought it was my fault. And then during the meditation, I had another thought, and then at the end, everyone was laughing. Some laughing energy came through or something, but I didn't get it. Everyone lying around me were laughing and so much joy, but I just didn't get it. And I tried so hard and I didn't get it. And I turned that all into anger and frustration. I was crying my balls off, and I was just like throwing tantrum. And I was telling myself I must be not a good person, or I must be, not talented for this. But I was born, raised as a good communist. So all I learned to do is not to give up. So I was like, okay, the next day I'll try harder. One of Dr. Joe's breathing meditation is to draw your energy from your first pelvic and then up to your brain to tap onto the pineal gland. We didn't understand that. He was just like, you need to practice and you need to do it. So only on the third day, I think through all my anger and frustration, I turned them into passion. And then I drawn it up, and telling you how we all explain is you almost have like a blank moment, and you have a mental orgasm, and then this energy just went through your entire body. So for that day, I had this energy on my chest, was like bumping, like very subtle movement. I have to sort of hold myself to not to move, otherwise my body just wobbles. And I was like, this is kind of cool. It feels a bit like sitting on a washing machine. And I was like, oh, I'm getting something going. I was very confident about it. But then in the last few days, we were doing this coherence healing. So basically we have this coherence frequency and heal people's disease. I don't know. I never even learned, theory like this. It sounds really superstitious, and I was like, I just give all in because that's what they tell you to do, and I just did it. So 2 days ago, we started to get up at really early hours. Even from the first day, we need to be here by 6. That means I need to get up at 5:30. But in the last 2 days, we need to be here by 4. So 2 days ago, I set alarm at 3:30 because I thought, oh, who on earth will be here by 4 o'clock? So when I come, all the seats will be empty and I'll be a good student sitting there and doing my meditation. But when I got here, oh my God, it was 4 o'clock on the dot. The door was almost closed and there was no seats. Everyone was here except for me. So I ran in, I was a big mess, and we lied down and we meditated for 4 hours. But time just in a blink, it didn't feel that long. But after that meditation, I had that subtle movement again, and the whole thing was like, I sleep quite a bit. I try to sleep at least 8 hours, sometimes 10 hours. Days, I'm quite an energetic person, but I was never this energetic. I slept in the last whole week every day, average about 5 to 6 hours. But I could just stay up and, be energetic, spontaneous, and punctual and ready to do anything. like any time. Even during the break, I was like, my body just decided to take me for a run. I was going to the beach, I was swimming in the ocean. I feel invincible. I have no idea where all this energy came from. And I mean, from all Dr. Joe theory, I'm not going to talk about the theory, it's only just my experience. So in the last 3 days in the afternoon, we've been doing this coherence healing. So the first day I went in and everyone, we have 8 people circle one person who is the healee, and everyone cried. I didn't. And I was like feeling really bad because I mean, like, you're not sympathetic and you don't care. I was quite hard on myself, but I was like, oh, there's a day after tomorrow. I can only just do better. I can try more. So today I set alarm at 3 o'clock. I woke up, I got here before everyone else got here, and I got in, I got myself a good seat, I could lie down. I was decided to do a good meditation. So for the healing yesterday, like before we went to the healing, Dr. Joe talks about you need to open up your heart. And I never really get that. Sometimes people say, oh, I feel sad, feel emotional. I get that. I know what I feel, but open up your heart. I was talking to another guy in my team. I was like, what does that mean? Can you describe it? Do you just like open your shirt or you crack your heart open? Like, what is it? And he said, just feel some warmth. And I was like, okay. And yesterday during the whole healing, everyone was like, sort of have some movement, shaking or crying, like, a lot dramatically. And I was not really having much. I was so angry, but I was like, yeah, just focus on it. Just don't think about anything else. All the thoughts can go. I'm just giving 100%. I was telling the universe, I take my body as a meteor to just let your energy through. So towards the end, the healee was really touched, and she said she had this electric shock went through her entire body. And then I didn't, to be honest, I didn't feel that much. But when the healing was all finished, everyone, stood up and we started to hug each other. And when I hugged the first person, I felt her heart. I felt her heart was like, pounding in front of my heart. And for that moment, I felt love. It was so emotional. I started crying just like thinking about that moment now. And there was only one sentence, one voice in my head. It ran so many times and finally I have to speak it out. I was saying to her, I said, I've never ever felt so much love. I've never ever felt so much love. It was just like everyone, they just got the love, and it healed everything. So I got it, and I had a really really happy night. I went to dinner by myself. I was happy with everyone who served me, and I made them feel that they're really significantly important. And I went home, I set an alarm at 3 o'clock, I made it here, I did my meditation for 4 hours, and I fell asleep. I wasn't supposed to. We're supposed to stay in the theta brainwave just so that you sort of subconscious was open, but I don't know. Sometime, somewhere, I fell asleep, and people at the end, the lights were all up. They have to like shake me and say, "Oh, it's all finished." I was like, "Oh, I missed it again." So, but I told myself today is the last day, so I'm going to give it 100%, and I'm gonna just trust it, believe in it, and whatever happens, I surrender. I leave it to the universe. And yesterday, the day before, I started to see all these shimmering things in the air, like energy, and the wiggles, like signals. And so anyway, today, before the coherence healing happened, we are not going to do the coherence healing meditation, not the walk. We're just going to be ready like that. So during the break, everyone was having fruit, everyone was talking. I was like, oh, I'm gonna calm myself down. I'm gonna be in the zone, in the field, ready to go in and heal someone. So I was walking around the resort, But just like 10 minutes before, suddenly when I was walking towards the lobby, I was like, oh, I was having a diarrhea. I was like, couldn't even move. I was like running to the toilet. I couldn't even run. It was hilarious. I was like, oh my God, I was so ready, but suddenly it's gonna take my moment. So I went in and there was like a long queue of ladies and I was like, oh my God, I'm wearing a white pants if you can see, and I didn't want to shit myself. But anyway, I sit in the toilet, I just, oh my God, let go. And then I rushed back to the room, the healing room, when everyone was already lining up and start to walk inside. You could hear the voice of Dr. Joe said, walk. And I was like, oh, go. I'm at the end of the line. And I walked in, I was like trying to, put myself all together. And I went in and I stood there. Again, it's Dr. Joe called that cage. So it's like a one Healy lying on the ground and 8 of us, 2 on both ends and 3 on either end. I was right next to her right cheek on this side. So we all went in and we stood there and we put our hands on our heart, and that moment I started crying. But I didn't think that was anything. I was like, oh yeah, you came here yesterday, that was really emotional, so now today you're in the similar thing, your neurocircuitry kicked in, your program, so you're crying, you're emotional, yeah, you know that. So I was crying. And then Dr. Joe started to talk and I just started crying. And it just came harder and harder and harder and more. Like I could feel like my heart and I could feel my emotions. My head was like going numb. And I was like, oh, this is something like really strong. And I couldn't even, like, I had no idea what my body was doing anyway, because I wasn't even looking. I was like so busy crying. And all of a sudden, when the music, like the hallelujah kind of music, it's very, good melody came through, I just feel my entire skull was like lift open, and I feel this electric shots going like this through the top of my head. And I was like, oh my God, it's finally coming. And it just came, and I had my attention on my heart. And then that was the time we need to rub our hands and give it to the Healy. And I just feel this electric going through my body, and my hand was like going lightning through, like, lightning bulbs to that person. And it was so strong, and I couldn't even hear things, and my things in front of me was all white. It's so much energy. But I wanted to see what's happening, because my hands was like pins and needles. It's like, you're touching the the PowerPoint. But I was crying so much, I don't even know why, that it's so much tear coming out of my eyes that when I because my hands were so busy, when I blinked my eyes, I still couldn't see. It's almost like you drive through a storm that your blinker doesn't work. And I was like, oh my God, if I'm doing the right thing. Oh. And all of a sudden, I'm in another space. Oh my God, that was what Dr. Joe described as the 5th dimension. There was no time and no space. There was peace and quiet, and there was all possibilities. And I saw everything. I just saw everything come through together. I saw the possibilities of my business. I saw all the things I'm going to do, and volunteer works, my life, my current life, my past life, and everything. But it all happens now. It's all happening in one moment, because when you are in this 5th dimension, there is no distance, so there is no time, no space, so no distance, so you don't need time, there's no time. Everything's happening in one space. It's like a one-stop shop. All possibilities was in there, and I was like, finally, I'm fucking getting it. And I was like so moved. I was crying and shaking, and my hands was going on. Trust me, for that moment, I was if I'm telling myself now, I know miracle happens. I mean, I came here without knowing anything, and I never believed in this kind of miracles, and people talk about it, but for God's sake, it happened to me. And so I had this, I was like, this this cannot be me. This is not me. But I was just a meteor. Everything's going through my body. And when I was so busy looking at everything and holding my hands to that person, and Dr. Joe said, now open your eyes. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready yet. I don't want to open my eyes. I'm still in my shop. I want to see all the possibilities. But we need to open our eyes. So the first thing, I opened up my eyes. I looked at the person next to me. We hugged and we cried. I just couldn't. My whole body was shaking like crazy. Like my body, like my hands was trembling. And I was holding that person for a long time, and then I went holding another person for a long time. I was looking at a Healy, but I couldn't sort of remember what she looks like. And then the next thing I could hear was like Dr. Joe said, oh, now you feel, now you can sit down. And people start to sit down because he's going to give us that talk. And well, just before we sit down, this old lady, she's shorter than me, she came over to me, and she was a Healy. And she tapped on my shoulder. She said, she came for you. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? She said, this beautiful yellow. She was yellow, like yellow hair, yellow body. And I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm like Asian, like with yellow hair. She said, no, no, no. She said, she was bright, she was divine, she was this energy. And she came and she sit next to you, and she had turned her face to you. And then everything came through you to my body, and I had this very strong electric shock went through my body, and I felt I was floating in the air. And the next moment, all my pain was gone. It was gone. And I was like, I felt this love. I was like crying. I mean, this is like almost 5 hours after. But at that moment, I was feeling this enormous love. I knew she was there. I knew I got it. I knew it works. I knew miracle happens. It's, you know what Dr. Joe said, when you know, you can't not know. So that was my life-changing moment, because I knew there was, I always knew there was something beyond me. There was always something beyond this world. I always know I'm not my body. I'm something not big, but you know, it's something not this. So that was the moment I felt enormous. I guess that's love. I don't know how to describe it, but it touches your heart, and then you cry. You just cry so much. Your whole body shakes with it, and you just so strong. You just feel appreciating everything and everyone and every moment. And that was, I think that was love. And when you got it, you're not the same person anymore. And when you saw a miracle happens, when you have ever been in contact with this energy divine, you want to do it again. You want it to happen to you again. So I guess it's been a long journey, and I came across challenges. I stretched myself. I come across lots of emotions, but I was so glad this final moment. I guess it's been set up for me to come across all these lessons, because all my struggles, I didn't nag about it, I didn't complain about it, but I turned it into a lesson and give more in my next day's practice. So the final moment, it gave it to me. It just give me a blink of what it will be like when you can go beyond yourself, when you can just believe in there is something beyond what you can see. There is something that has bigger purpose, and in some dimensional world, we are all in one. We are like, everything exists, and you can create reality, and you can create future, and all you need to do is to just give love. And for my entire life, I don't know how it feels to fully be loved, to fully embrace someone, to love them, to give up yourself, to let someone else to get the love. Because I was using my body, I was telling the energy to just take me, go through me, I don't care, just take me and use my body, because I understand for frequency they need some media to give that to get the patterns. And I was just like so selfless. But for that moment, you get rewarded. and that will forever change my life. And I will be on. This is not the end of it. This is only the beginning of it. I will stick with this work, and this is going to be my life journey from now. So I just want to share with you about my experience, and I love you.